a man of average attractiveness,
Hit me with it.
has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee.
Scott is no doubt thinking of stats like this one. And in this particular example, we see that men match with about 1 in 50 of the women that they like, and women with 1 in 2 of the men. It is, of course, worth pointing out that the men are 15 times more likely to like the women in this sample. It's even misleading to say that men are less picky than women in these instances, because a lot of men are not picky at all. They exercise no judgment and swipe right on everyone. Ironically, or sadly, they delegate the responsibility for choosing to women and then get mad at them for making the choices that they do.
4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him.
And there are problems with Scott's claim that 4 in 5 men have been ghosted after a first date too. One of those problems being that of the many surveys that have asked people whether they have been ghosted, I could not find a single one that reported something up to 80%. This is as close as it gets. This result from Pew is much more typical. And those graphs from Pew also point toward another problem with the way that Scott is presenting this data, which is that he doesn't acknowledge that men ghost women too. But discussing that wouldn't help his narrative so much.
You can't tell women to lower their expectations, but this is the reality.
Or at least you can't say it explicitly, because given what Scott says next, that's really the only takeaway that a person can reasonably infer.
When you ask a man if you could have a woman who had 80% of everything you wanted, 75% say, yeah, I'm on board.
So I needed to go to the internet to figure out what source Scott Galloway is citing here, because he never actually tells us. Even when he referenced this previously on his podcast, but gave slightly different percentages for some reason. Scott is probably referencing a survey from this 2010 book. Now, I do think that it's important to mention here that this book was not well received. And we should also have serious discussions about the men who she describes as having settled and being happy with their choice. Alan here does not strike me as a happy man.
When you say to a woman, a man has 80% of what you want, 75% say that's not enough.
And add to that the fact that there is a real gulf between what single people say they want and then the partners that they actually do choose. Because women do, in fact, routinely settle for less than 80% of what they were looking for. And I'll finish here by pointing out that if indeed women are pickier, they have every reason to be. Married men are, after all, healthier, happier, and make more money than their single counterparts. Women, on the other hand, boys and young men are suffering, and Scott wants to help them, and I get that. But encouraging women to settle in order to soothe and satisfy boys is only going to transfer that misery from one population to the other.